What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks and financial institutions, and most importantly, how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If that's something you like to listen to, we welcome you to subscribe. Otherwise, you can support our channel if you just like, share, and comment right down below. It helps our content get out to a wider audience, and we greatly appreciate the support. So for today's video, I wanted to do a recap and actually introduce you guys to some additional shopping cart tricks. Now, previously I've done a couple different videos on the shopping cart trick, and the ones that I'm going to focus on are the ones that result in a Visa or MasterCard, because those are the ones that are really valuable. You can use those accounts outside of the retailer. So essentially, for those of you who aren't familiar with what the shopping cart trick is, it's a way in order to trigger a approval without hopefully having to undergo a hard inquiry. So this works with community bank related accounts. So community bank is a large bank that partners with different retailers in order to offer, credit, either a store credit card or a Visa MasterCard. So I'm going to focus only on like the Visa MasterCards. Before I get into the review, the most important thing is making sure you opt in. So you have to go to www.optoutprescreen.com and opt in. You're going to want to give it a couple of weeks for your information to kind of permeate throughout their different credit systems. So the way it works, when you opt in, you're given permission for the major credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and Innovis, to share your information with different credit card issuers, banks, and other financial institutions. So what they'll do is, on a monthly or quarterly basis, they'll send these batch credit files with millions of customer information to these different institutions, and those institutions will then take that information and see who might be a good candidate for one of their credit products. Now with the shopping cart trick ones, for the most part you could apply directly, but there are certain credit cards where you can't apply for directly. The only way you can get it is through an invitation, and the only way to get the invitation is if you opt in. But the shopping cart trick still does work with, even if you don't apply directly, you can still trigger an offer if you're opted in. So, and then in addition to that, you also have to disable your pop-up blocker. You're going to have to delete all of your browser history, and I always recommend restarting or shutting down your computer, letting it power cycle for about 45 seconds to a minute, and then trying to do it. And basically what you'll do is, for one of these retailers, right, you'll basically create an online account, with the same information, the same name, address, and everything that you used when you opted in. So that information has to match, because what happens is, when you get to the end of your checkout, you're going to enter your shipping and billing information. Your billing information has to match what you put when you opted in. So if the addresses are different or anything, or the names are different, anything like that, then it may not work. So that's one very important thing you have to keep in mind. But basically what you do after you create your online profile, then you would go about shopping. Oh yeah, before you do that, open up a browser in incognito mode, disable the pop-up blocker as I mentioned. But yeah, you log into your online profile, add a couple things to your shopping cart, and what you want to do is you want to mimic exactly what a shopping experience would entail, right? Because on the back end, these companies are monitoring the user experience. So they're they're using heat mapping, they're using different analytics to see how long you stayed on the page for, what links did you click on, like things like that. So you don't want to just log into your account, add 2 items, and check out within like 15 seconds, right? That's not a normal shopping experience. So you want to browse through the website and actually allow yourself to be on the website, be logged into your profile on the website, for at least 5 minutes. The longer the better, but at least 5 minutes, right? Maybe browse through as if you're actually, shopping, even though you may only want to do this to trigger the offer, right? So yeah, and I would recommend at least $200 worth of merchandise. So then what you'll do once you're ready to check out, you'll go to checkout. They ask you for your shipping address, your billing address, and as I stated, you're going to want to make sure your billing address and the address that you use to opt in is the exact address, right? So just confirm that, and then what happens after that? Usually there's a button that says proceed to payment, and so at that point is generally when they're looking to see if there's an offer, because right before you pay, they want to give you the option of using their credit product if you do qualify for an offer. So usually you'll see like the screen spinning, and what's happening on the back end is that they're seeing if there's a match for a credit offer for you. Now, and if all the things were done properly and you actually do qualify, and that's another thing too, it's not going to work if you don't qualify, right? So if you have terrible credit, it's probably not going to work for you, right? So you have to be you actually have to qualify for the offer. What that qualification is, we don't know, but your credit score profile definitely has to meet whatever their standards might be. So at that point, when it's spinning, it's trying to match an offer to you, and then hopefully, if you do qualify for an offer, it'll pop up. So that's generally like the process that you can apply. Some other things you might want to do is if there's any loyalty programs, rewards programs, make sure you sign into those, because those have been shown to also increase your chances. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But I wanted to go over 6 shopping cart tricks. So the ones that I've done previously, the Sportsman Guide, which is kind of like an outdoors type of store, kind of like Bass Pro Shops. They have outdoor equipment. I did a video on that. I'll post a link in there. Caesar's Rewards, which is for the hotel and casino loyalty rewards program, right? They have their Visa credit card. Williams Sonoma, which they have their own Visa card as well. They have like kitchen and home appliances and things like that. So then the 3 that I'm going to go over with you guys that I haven't done a review on. So there's the Coldwater Creek MasterCard. Now, I personally have not been able to trigger this particular offer, but there have been other subscribers who actually shared that they were able to get the Coldwater Creek MasterCard without having to do a hard inquiry. They were able to do that through the shopping cart trick. And, oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to throw in there too. The shopping cart trick can still work if your credit reports are frozen. However, if you have a fraud alert on your credit report, then it won't work. So that's one very, very important distinction. If you have a fraud alert, it's not going to work for you. If you have a credit freeze, it can still work for you. So that's just one thing to be aware of, because with fraud alerts, you can't open, they're supposed to contact you and verify your identity before opening up any credit accounts. So that's just one thing I want to, let you guys be aware of, right? And so the Coldwater Creek MasterCard. So Coldwater Creek, they sell, like clothing and different types of apparel and stuff like that. Next up is Good Sam's. Good Sam is basically associated with Camping World. So Camping World is like, they have RVs and trailers. As a matter of fact, if some of you guys have watched the show on CNBC called The Profit, the owner of the main guy behind the show, Marcus Lemonis, who's like a serial entrepreneur, he actually owns or has a equity stake in Camping World. So they sell like RVs and stuff like that. So Good Sam is kind of like their RV club. It's a membership. So one of the ways to trigger this, and this is actually a new one that I became aware of. So with Good Sam, they have their own Visa card. And so it works the same way. You're going to want to sign up with sign up to their club. So they have like a 1-year, 2-year, and a 3-year membership. So joining that, or at least adding it to your shopping cart, will help your chances of triggering the shopping cart trick. Again, they are associated with Community Bank, so it works the same. So this is another one that I don't think that many people are aware of. The Good Sam Camping World, Visa card rather. So that's another shopping cart trick. And then lastly is the Ultimate MasterCard. Now, Ultimate is like it's like skincare, makeup, something that I wouldn't ever apply for, but I just wanted to throw it out there. This is another MasterCard that you can get through the shopping cart trick. Works pretty much the same way as all of the other ones, community bank related, but there are data points that you could actually obtain this one through the shopping cart trick as well. So just to recap, the six that I'm aware of that are Visa MasterCards, either through, like I said, I've gotten myself or through a client or a subscriber who's volunteered this information. The Sportsman Guide Visa, the Caesars Rewards Visa, Williams Sonoma Visa, Coldwater Creek MasterCard, the Good Sam Camping World Visa, and then the Ultimate MasterCard. So that's six different Visa MasterCard credit cards that you could potentially get without a hard pull. Now, as I mentioned, some people have reported getting hard pulled. I think it was especially with the Caesars Rewards Visa. Some people reported getting a hard pull for that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Then there are others who got it without a hard pull. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. And it will work even if you do have your credit reports frozen. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But with a fraud alert, you won't be able to trigger the shopping cart trick. So I just wanted to do this comprehensive video on the different Visa MasterCards that you can get with just the shopping cart trick. Remember, you're not going to be able to get all of them necessarily, right? Because after a certain point, Community Bank will limit the amount of cards that you do have with them. So just keep that in mind, right? And if you don't get one of them, you could always try another one, right? You just might not have an offer for that particular retailer. So I wanted to give you guys this information. I'll post links in the description so you guys can definitely check out some of these. And until next time, y'all take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.